Welcome to the Texas Insider Fishing Report. Presented by Yamaha.
Welcome back to the Texas Insider Fishing Report. This week, obviously, Rick is on probably one of his many adventures. He likes to go on hunting to fishing, whatever. So we have Captain Jim Ross filling in. It is very good to have you back with us.
I'm so excited to be back. I love doing this show. It's so much fun.
I love having you. You're one of my favorite co-hosts. And yet you've been one of my only ones. So that means a lot, I promise.
Well, at least I'm not on the I don't want that guy backlist.
Nope, definitely not. We're glad you're here. All right, but before we get to our reports, let's see what our other favorite guy is up to over at the Parts View Workbench. And I mean that sincerely, I really do.
Yeah,
Dave.
well, we're going to be talking a little bit about catfishing tonight.
Catfishing?
Yeah, we haven't hit catfish so far this year. So.
All right, well, we're about to have a good smell-o-vision type of show.
Over here with all this bait I got.
I'm starting to smell it. All right, well, we're seeing smiles for miles in the heroes on the water lower fresh region on LBJ, Stillhouse Hollow, Buchanan, and Lake Falcon. But let's start on Lake Travis with Matt Reed. What's going on, Matt? It's almost time for dinner.
It's almost time, Bree. I'll tell you what, that's a necessary thing for this old fella.
Oh, yeah?
Let's get started talking about the largemouth bass in that South Texas region. Brian Cotter sent me a report from Lake Travis. The fishing is good. The numbers are down some, but the quality bite is there. You want to throw swim baits, Texas rig creature baits, or crawl worms on the ledges in that 15 to 30 foot range to get some bites, and they definitely have been better. Also, a neat pattern that's going on right now, you can work the bluff walls with a topwater Berkeley cane walker. That's really catching, the random nice big one and quite a few fish. You want to be sure and target the isolated boulders on those bluff walls. That's the key to getting those bites. LBJ's fishing good. You want to concentrate on the dock, skip you a worm or a jig as far back under there as you can, and that's definitely been getting some good bites. There's also a top water bite on the bulkheads early in the morning. Stillhouse Hollow is fishing well. The fish have been shallow since the flood, but with the water receding, the bass have moved back out. You want to look for grass on the humps and the underwater points and work these areas with a big Texas rig worm. That's what pattern is giving up the most fish right now. Lake Buchanan is also fishing well. You want to look for shallow rock piles early in the morning with the top water to get some explosive action there. Later in the day, you want to work the deeper rocks with a crankbait. As the sun gets high, those fish are backing out, and that's the best way to keep up with them later in the day. Lake Falcon just continues to shine. There's several little patterns going on right now. The shallow rock houses are giving up a bunch of bites. These fish are mostly mid-sized with the occasional big one. Square bill crankbaits and Nico rig soft plastics are the preferred weapons for that pattern. And for the true Falcon specials, you need to target the man-made brush piles or the deeper rock ledges. Texas rig big worms in the piles, and that Berkeley Dime 15 crankbait can't be beat out on the deeper rocks to produce you a giant. Got a bass picture there with Bobby Brown, a big old fish he caught with me a little while back. Those kind of fish never get old.
That's for sure. Well, tell us about the redfish.
We got the redfish, and yes, that's fresh water. Jim Bray with Lone Oak Adventure sent me a report from Calaveras. Water temperature is 92 degrees, and the redfish are on the move this week. They're moving from the back of the coves out on the main lake to the main lake creek channels and open water humps. This is typical for them this time of the year as the older fish make their way down toward the dam for the annual spawn. No, the freshwater ones cannot reproduce, but they still go through the motions of acting like they're going to spawn. Right now you want to cast 1 ounce gold spoons or a big swim bait at them. They're grouped up when you find them. That is a way to catch a bunch of them. Got a picture there of one of his clients with just a pretty old redfish out of a freshwater lake in Texas.
You gotta love that. That's awesome. That is just awesome.
Got the catfish. Ram Reyes sent a report from Falcon. The trophy catfish has been real good at night. In 10 to 15 foot of water off the main river ledge. Live perch and big cut, fresh cut tilapia has been doing great. For the keeper catfish, there've been a ton of them caught during the day. Stink bait, fish bites, and small, cut bait has been the ticket. A slip cork rig has been real effective, suspending that bait around the vertical cover in 5 to 10 foot of water. That's a great way to catch a bunch of the eater-sized fish to have you a good fish fry. James Brace in report for Calaveras Catfish. They're loaded up on the main lake, Rocky Points, and bends of the creek channel in that 15 to 20 foot range. Using cut shad and punch bait is what's working best at Calaveras. Got 2 big old Falcon Lake blue cat from Ram Reyes. It's just amazing how many big old blue cat are in that lake. There's such a good food chain that they're just fat as they can be.
At those.
The smile on those 2 guys is as big as that catfish. Those are awesome pictures.
Right?
They are. That's just awesome pictures.
Smiles for miles.
You never can get too much of that.
That's for sure.
Awesome.
Well, Matt, I'm going to take your hot spots for the lower fresh region from here. Captain Matt says Lake Travis. The bass are definitely biting, so you want to get out there and get some topwater action. You want to throw that Berkeley cane walker on the bluffs, and then later move to the deeper ledges in 15 to 25 feet of water. And you want to use a Texas rig or some jigs to keep catching those fish after the sun gets up high.
My brain always semi-short circuits when I hear redfish coming out of Matt Reed's region, but it's okay.
That's a great thing about redfish is you can live in.
I know. It's just
you know why they can't reproduce?
Why?
Their eggs won't float. The salt content in the water makes their eggs float so they can actually
But they still
develop.
go through the motions of it. Good to know. Good to know. All right, well, temps in the upper fresh region have things all shook up, so let's see what it's doing to the bite with Mike McFarland in Studio T. Back to reality, Mike. Good to see you again.
Yes, you too. Man, I just learned something. Thanks for sharing that, Jim. And I'm with you, Bree, when you hear freshwater and redfish, you kind of, What?
What?
But hey, we don't have redfish in the upper fresh region, but we got great bass fishing. Let's tell you all about it. Lake Fork, topwater bite is definitely here. They're chasing the Berkeley Jaywalker. The bone color is my favorite color because it emulates all different types of bait fish. But you find them big schools on Lake Fork, get them fired up, and you can catch them really good at early mornings especially, and then cloudy days you can do it all day long. Main lake points, secondary points are most important spots to be hitting. In the afternoon, go ahead and swing around to that Bass Assassin big worm, that big 11-inch assassin worm, 10 to 12 foot of water on the main lake points, plum or plum apple, and it'll continue to give you that kind of late summer bite. Ray Hubbard, the bait fish are stacked early mornings and just before dark around the lighted up areas and night lighted docks. So if you know where those are, hot water's like the Berkeley Bullet Pop, and of course a shaky head with a trick worm on it. You just get around where the fish start feeding on that balled up bait and you're going to catch them. And a lot of times look for those hard rock areas and hard, rocky riprap banks. You'll see some bait there. If there's bait there, there's bass there. Tawakoni. Matt Cartwright says that, lily pad bite in the backwaters around vegetation is awesome. You just got to move until you get some bites. There's a lot of areas that don't have fish, but when you do, you're getting a nice 4 or 5 pound bass at Tawakoni, or mostly around, again, that backwater vegetation. Black and yellow frog seems to be the best color. And then I got one more for you. Lake Athens this time of year can be amazing. The offshore bite is absolutely phenomenal. You can have schools of 200 plus bass in the 2 to 3, 4 pound range, and they'll be offshore in open water, and they will eat. And they all blow up all at once. Sometimes it's amazing, like someone's throwing rocks from heaven. But you get in the middle of that, you're going to catch a lot of fish. All the top waters work. The Bullet Pop, the El Chapo, any long casting bait's going to get you those fish. I also like to take a little silver spoon because sometimes that can throw even farther. But once those boils stop, tap out trach worm. That'll keep catching bass on Athens all day long. And here's a really nice fish we recently caught on a Berkeley Jaywalker.
Very nice fish.
Yeah. So love that bite. That topwater bite is no better when a big one eats it. Let's tell you about crappie. Jackie Wiggins said it's about exactly the same. It's really been a weird summer, now kind of becoming a tough summer. I think the fish are in transition. They've seen a lot of huge schools of black crappie loaded up on brush piles, on laydowns, tire reefs, the typical things, but they're very finicky. Catching a lot of smaller fish, which is good because they'll grow. Next season, we'll have a lot of grown-up fish that are not measuring right now, so you do have to go through a lot of them, but the fishing's still good, and Jackie continues to fill those tables. Like I'll show you in these pictures. No matter what, he works harder than any guy I know. Jackie Wiggins and happy clients.
There you have it. Once again. Wow, look at that.
That's it. It's all about hard work, everything we do, right? So stripers, Lake Lavon, Kerry Thorne, those sand bass are in a 15-foot. Every day this week, he's limited out on Sam's Pass by 7:45 a.m. That's only about 1 hour. 1 ounce slab spoons, white chartreuse work really good. And he's also the key is putting that hair jig above that slab spoon. They catch 2 fish at a time. And that's really amazing to see that happen. It's really fun. So remember to tie that hair jig above your slab spoon about 18 inches. You can get them 2 at a time. Cartwright says Tawakoni's about 6 inches low, 86 degrees, and the hybrids are still on fire there. It's an early morning thing, 22 to 35 feet. You really need that live bait. They're catching their limits really fast and then continuing to catch fish and throwing them back. The sand bass on Tawakoni are tough to catch. They're really hard. He said most of the guys are catching them by trolling with inline spinners. Here's Tawakoni again, Matt Cartwright. Again, always putting that meat on the table. They work hard.
Yeah. What,
Look at
limits
that.
in 15 minutes,
He says that's
right?
tough fishing. He
That's
calls
crazy.
that tough fishing.
Tough.
He's got it dialed in.
It's tough, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Tell us about the
catfish,
catfish.
the same thing, all of our lakes, kind of like Matt said down south, just them 15-foot flats, you can just really hit those drops and breaks. It doesn't matter whether you're using cut bait or tub bait, stink bait, you're going to catch fish this time of year. The catfishing is real good. So that's kind of what I got for you guys.
Well, thanks a lot, Mike. Here are the hot spots for the upper fresh region. Mike says it is definitely time for you guys to get out on Tawakoni because the hybrids and stripers continue to reign supreme in the upper fresh region. Recent cooler temps have the big bass fired up, and at the world famous Lake Fork as well.
All right, well, it's time to gear up for the Phillips Upper Coast region when we come back. But first, Dave is prepping to get us geared up for rigs and techniques at the Parts View workbench. Dave, it's stinking.
Yeah, it does stink. I just made the mistake of opening up this cheese bait. It doesn't really
We can
smell like
smell it all the way
cheese.
over
We're gonna
here.
open
I
all
wish
of
it
it.
really smelled like cheese, but it doesn't.
We'll be back with the big cheese in just a minute.
The Texas Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Ameritrail. Load, launch, relax. Fenwick. Feel everything. Bahio. Blue light blocking, radically clear polarized fishing sunglasses. Sportsman's Adventures with Captain Rick Murphy. Fishing for adventure. Berkeley. Your fish, our science. Prospect Smoked Meats. Fuel your day the Texas way. And Skeeter Performance Fishing Boats. Eat, sleep, fish.
Well, here we are at the Parts View workbench. We're going to talk a little
Yes,
bit
we
about
are.
some catfishing. And
Yeah.
Dave, man, you opened that bucket.
Yeah, you can still hear it. It's wafting around.
I'm no catfish, but I can smell it.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what I
one of the
mean?
most popular fish in Texas. Catfish are. They can be found in sizable schools of fish, so you can catch a lot of them, and you can limit out very quick, and they're good to eat, and they get really big. You saw some of those catfish.
blue cats are huge.
Yeah, so they're just a great, and anybody can catch them, with bass gear. So, you can catch go out there and catch a 50-pound fish. It's amazing, and by the way, you can eat that joker when you're done. Now, channels and blue cats are the main species. You can keep up to 25 of any mixture of those two, but 10 of them can't be more than 20 inches. So if you catch one, then we're trying to keep the big ones.
So they want to
can
keep the
breed.
trophies
Correct.
back in there so they can reproduce.
Exactly, and then the flatheads you can keep 5, and the minimum size for a flathead is 18 inches, and that's the only minimums that are involved with catfishing.
Gotcha.
Now, there's a lot of different rigs to use. One of the most popular ones is like a Santee Cooper rig, which is it's a catfish rig with a float on it. And what that does, a lot of blue cats and flatheads, they like to eat live baits and stuff that's up off the bottom. So this is a good rig when you're targeting those big trophy blue cats. Obviously, you go up or down in size of your monofilament, depending on the size fish you're chasing. But most of the time, you can get away with 20 to 30 pound leader material. This little section here would probably be about twice as long, and this float would be closer to the hook, or about the same size away
Keep
from
the bait
hook.
up out.
Yeah, just to keep the bait up off the bottom.
But just make it longer so that it'd be out here and keep it away from the rest of the rig.
Yeah, I'm just showing that so it's
Gotcha.
easier to show.
Yeah,
And we want to use, just enough bait to hold the bottom.
Okay.
You don't want to be fighting the bait or, casting an extra heavy bait when you really don't, really don't need to.
Okay.
So just go ahead and use the least amount you can get away with to hold the bottom. And this is a really good way to do it because you can clip this off and put another one on
Gotcha.
or whatever. You also can use just a regular fish finding rig, which is probably the most popular. Just a sinker that bangs on the swivel there, and then a nice circle hook or a kale hook. Now, as far as the hook goes, you want to make sure that you use a circle hook or a kale hook, and there's a couple of good reasons for that. Catfish, he eats stuff, he swallows it whole, which is perfect for a circle hook. When you come tight, it'll just come right to the corner of their mouth, and the fish is not going to get off that way. It's hard for him to shake that off, and the kale hook's the same way.
When you were saying if the fish does get it down, one of these disgorgers work really good, and they have a double purpose for you.
Yeah, you also use that to put your treble hook down in that stink bait, so you don't have to touch it. You can put that on your treble hook,
put it on like that, and then get it down in there,
and just dig it down in there. That way, and then throw this thing away when you're done with it.
Now tell me about this rig, Dave.
Well, that's the same sort of thing. It's this you can put your baits in here. You can fill that with a bunch of nasty stuff, cheese bait or this blood bait, stuff like that, and it'll work. But when you're out there trying to catch these flatheads and the blue cats, like these fellows are saying, they like live bait. A live shad, a little live shad, is probably your best bait for the flatheads and the blue cats, the trophy blue cats.
They're more of a predator.
Yes, those blue cats will actually follow and shadow schools of shad all day around the lake. So when you find those shad, that's where you should start fishing for those trophy blue cats.
They're going to be close.
Because they're going to be close to that. And like they said, a big cut up tilapia or a carp, fresh. We use this stink bait and stuff, but they really like fresh baits as well. The bigger shads and whatnot.
Gotcha.
They really like that.
So depending on the type of bait, you can often you can get the type of fish that you're targeting.
Correct. And
based on your bait.
Yeah, and get you a nice Veritas, casting rod with a nice Abu Garcia Arret Revo on there. That's plenty strong enough to get any catfish.
Well, that's awesome, Dave. Great stuff. Well,
Jim, you're normally not here. That was a great talk about catfish, by the way.
Wasn't
but
it?
here's some projects to take with you because you don't get to enjoy these meat sticks like we do
thank
on set.
you.
I was just over there snacking on one. All
Already
right,
gave him
Phillips Upper Coast Region is
Slightly
ready.
used.
Slightly used, just one, to get you catch on all sorts of species from speckled trout to sharks. So let's get reeling with Captain Mickey Eastman. What's going on, Mickey?
Hello, everybody. All right, let's get started with Galveston Bay Complex on speckled trout. The Bolivar Peninsula surf and the Galveston Island surf, they're still good for weight fishermen early in the morning for really nice specks. And top waters are best early in the first gut with clear water and all the way to the beach. And downsize your top waters in that super clear water for positive results. And saltwater assassins and mirror lures, they always work, and they're working really good on quarter-ounce Pro Elite jig heads. And moving up into the bay, the gas wells along a ship channel near A-Lee Separator, they're producing solid trout, especially on the down current side of the well pads, and fish those baits near the bottom. And upper Galveston Bay near Sylvan Beach, it's producing good speckled trout also. Those fish are starting to move north. Purple Little Johns, black shad assassins are working great over shell and near pier pilings, and water clarity is green and 89 degrees. Moving over to Sabine Lake, throw salt plastics and pearl and chartreuse. That's for your best results. Those two colors have been working great this year at Sabine. Some trout are starting to show up in the top end of the lake, so when you're easing up there, look for slicks and birds and all that. But the top end near the ship channel in Pleasure Island's been holding some decent fish. Water clarity's fair and 89 degrees. And the main lake deep shell north of the causeway, it's still holding solid trout in 6 to 8 feet of water. And use saltwater assassins and slamming chicken, red shad. Those have been working really good with a midday bite on orange and pink mirror lure top dog top waters. Those fish are actually coming up in the heat of the day for whatever reason. And the south and north levee walls along the Texas side of the lake, they're starting to produce good numbers of solid trout as these fish make their track northward for the fall run. So look for slicks and bait fish and throw what you like. It's all working good. This week's speckled trout photo, that's Owen Castile fishing with Captain Steve Hillman in Galveston. And then let's get to redfish action. It's fair to good along the South Jetty. They're using live shrimp, cut mullet, and gulp shrimp. They're fishing tight to the rocks early, and the beachfront's been wide open on redfish also, but we'll get to that in a minute. Sabine Lake redfishing. It's been starting to heat up in open water on the main lake under shad balls and diving gulls in the middle of the day. And when that water glass is off, you can really find them a lot easier. Top waters and soft plastics are best to throw, but back lakes, bio ledges, and river ledges near drains and points, they're holding fair number of rat reds and slot reds, gold spoons, square bill crankbaits, anything in a shad pattern, and bass assassin paddle tails and chartreuse colors. They're working the best, and water clarity is fair to good up there in 89 degrees. And offshore, the Guff's still on, the redfish photo. That's Brooks Hilton with a nice slot red caught in Galveston Bay with Captain Steve Hillman.
That's
and offshore
awesome.
fishing, yes, and Guff of America, or the Guff, whatever you want to call it, it's still on fire. Marlin, sailfish, dolphin, ling, blackfin, tuna, snapper, and kingfish are all being caught consistently. So target shrimp boats for best blackfin action right now. That's according to Captain Sharky Marquez with Outcast Charters in Galveston. And tarpon, sharks, and bull redfish, that action's starting to heat up, and it'll go through the fall along the Upper Coast beachfront. That's according to Captain James Plog with Silver King Adventures. And this week's photo of bull redfish caught by Jack Cebulski in Galveston with Captain Steve Hillman. He's had a heck of a week. And
You got a shark photo as well,
that's
huh?
Captain Sugar Shane with Outcast Charters in Galveston. They're all catching them, man.
Well, I tell you what, Mickey, that was a fantastic report. Thanks so much. We're going to take your hot spots for the Upper Coast region from here. Mickey says Galveston and Bolivar beaches are producing good numbers of speckled trout, bull redfish, sharks, and tarpon. Deep shell pads and reefs are producing the best numbers of trout in Galveston and Sabine. Fish the upper bays as these fish track northward.
All right, well, make sure you save the date coming up September 27th for the Red Trout Go Live Tournament, a special event benefiting the treatment and recovery of Captain Jeff Page. Join anglers and compete for the largest redfish up to 9 pounds and the single heaviest trout, all for a great cause and a legendary captain. Scan the QR code on your screen for more information and to get registered. Remember, it can be from any state. All right,
Anywhere.
coming up, we're checking out the Proshex Middle Coast and Startron Middle Fresh regions that are sure to fill those weekend species bucket lists, so stay hooked. And don't forget to stay up to date with everything fishing in Texas. Just scan that QR code on your screen, follow us on social media, catch the latest fishing adventures on our YouTube channel, Captain Rick Murphy, and check out our show merch to gear up in style. We'll be right back.
The Texas Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Bass Assassin and Saltwater Assassin, the best lures, period. Berkeley, your fish, our science. Murphy's Law Sport Fishing. Book your trip today at murphyslawsportfishing.com. Abyss Battery. Power your pursuit. Rodan. Set it, forget it, catch more fish. Phillips. Building the infrastructure that safeguards our future. Berkeley Pro Spec Chrome. And Penn. Let the battle begin.
Well, Jim, we all know that Rick has a need for speed.
That's right, Bree. So let's check out how he does his boat when he wants to go fast.
Let's see.
Hey guys, I've been doing a lot of testing with this Skeeter Bay boat and this 350 Yamaha on propeller application. Now understand this is real simple. Whatever outboard you have, you want your motor to turn 5,500 to 6,000 RPMs. As long as you're doing that, then you got the right application with your amount of pitch and diameter. Now, you may have a boat that's a little sluggish. Maybe you're only turning 5,200 RPMs. So you may keep the same pitch of prop, but go down in diameter. Understand that whether it's down in pitch, you're gonna gain 200 RPMs. If you go up in pitch, it's gonna cost you 200 RPMs. And the same thing applies in diameter. So this particular SHO, it's 15 1/8 is the diameter, but it's a 23 pitch. I'm turning 6,000, sometimes 6,100. So I have a 24 that's gonna bring me down 200 RPMs, but I'm gonna probably go 2 to 3 miles an hour faster. Now remember this, if you have an offshore boat or you have a boat that's cavitating quite a bit, maybe you can go to a 4-blade prop and that's gonna work really well for you. It works very well in a jack plate application because you can run it up real high and it's gonna hold for you and allow you to jump out of real shallow areas with no problem whatsoever. The other thing that you need to understand is that props come in a variety of different diameters, and understand that diameter doesn't necessarily mean it's pitch. So ask your local dealer, ask your mechanic. You can actually even check the performance bulletins with the manufacturers of boats. But if you're going and doing this on your own and you want to go to West Marine, or maybe you go to a local dealer, here's what I want you to see. You're going to see lots of these boxes up on the shelf. Here's what you need to understand about what that label's telling me. The 4R means it's a 4-blade, it's right-hand rotation. The 15 means that's the diameter of the propeller. The 23 is the pitch, and the SS means it's made out of stainless steel. There's aluminum props on those shelves. So whatever works for you, ask your local dealer to help you, or the person at the sales counter at West Marine. But nevertheless, you can go to Yamaha Outboards, or you can ask again, look at the performance bulletins of the type of boat you have, and that may be a good place to start. If you have any questions, you can certainly go to YamahaOutboards.com or call your local dealer.
You know, Bree, propping your boat properly is really important. So if you're a guy that takes 3, 4, 5 people out, you need to go with a slightly lower pitch. And sometimes even, like Rick was saying, add that 4th blade, because that 4th blade carries more water on it, helps keep the boat on plane at lower speeds and rougher conditions. So those are a couple of things that you need to keep in mind as well. You may not always have a light load and only 2 guys in the boat.
Right, and just rewatch that video a few times if you're confused like
definitely.
me. All right, the Project's Middle Coast region is keeping their anglers waiting with bass assassins and in search of swordfish offshore. So let's hear the details with Captain Bank Grimes. What's going on, Bank?
What's happening? I'm a 4-blade guy on my prop as well. It's been a good summer wading, standing grass in West Bay, mud and shell in East Bay, and the guts and bar in the surf. Those mid-bay reefs and East Matagorda Bay turned on this week with light winds. We've been throwing sheep puffs and bass assassins and soft tines, worked around Half Moon, 3 Beacon, and Long Reef. Drifters, they found fish on live shrimp or the mid-coast cork, and then the Gulf turbo shrimp as well around Boiler Bow, Raymond Shoals, Oyster Farm, and Boggy Cut. Then those reefs in San Antonio Bay's been hot with all this light wind we've had, waiting with live bait, posting up on the edges of reefs with finger mullet. Waders close to Cedar Bow found fish in the guts on bass assassins and corkies. Rockport anglers worked the edge of the ICW on live shrimp piggy perch. Soft plastics worked around the edges have worked well for good fish around the shrimp boat channel as well. The jetty at Port Aransas has been good for trout on finger mullet, free line shrimp. Same holds true around Freeport and the Surfside and Quintana jetty. A lot of fish been hanging on those on that granite. Don't discount Half Moon Reef in West Matagorda Bay. There's been a lot of oversized trout on those reefs on Gulf turbo shrimp and those white dragon tails. It's been a lot of catch and release out there because the fish has just been too big. That's a good problem to have. Our photo, it's been a great August and early September for drifters, working bass assassins over scattered shell for that fish right there. Redfish action, West Matagorda Bay. Tides are improving. We're anchoring down on mud on the incoming shell. Good catches of trout along the grass line on the north shoreline. We got a light north wind on most of the day. It feels really good down here, knocking some of the humidity down. Some of those reds are beginning to school under birds. The tides are beginning to swell as well. That's what happens in September. We've had a lot of low pressure out in the Gulf right now, which help matters as well. Waders found redfish later in the morning down west in West Bay on bass assassins on those grass beds. Birds have worked over schooling redfish in East Matagorda Bay. Gold spoons and shrimp have worked best. Most of those reds are showing on the shorelines for these higher tides. As we get into September, expect more schooling action as those shrimp start flooding the bay. Jetty turned on for good catch of redfish in Matagorda, Freeport, Port O'Connor, and Port Aransas. Mullet, piggy perch, and those large table shrimp are working around the granite. Redfish are showing around the south shoreline of Espiritu Santo Bay as well. Back lakes in Port O'Connor are giving up redfish on shrimp and small topwaters. Then bull redfish, they're in the Gulf right now, beginning their fall spawn. September is just the awesome time to do it. Beach anglers have tossed crabs and mullet in the rough surf and found good catches. You might even see acres of redfish showing on the surface. Our Gulf has been really calm for most of August and even this week in September, and it's just been a good time out there. Offshore action, those calm winds that bode well for our offshore guys. Michael Quebec is still chasing swordfish and tilefish out about 60 to 80 miles. Really nice wahoo and dorado were found this week as well. In Port Aransas, great catches of kingfish, amberjack, and tuna have been caught on overnight trips. Tarpon are showing along our beaches near Port O'Connor and in Matagorda. Expect to see more tarpon this month, and there's just a lot of competition. We've been seeing a lot of them, a lot of 140s, 150s, smaller fish around the Porter Connor jetty as well. A lot of our anglers are fishing this time of year. You know, our dove season started this week. A lot of anglers are fishing in the morning and dove hunting in the evening. I'll be dove hunting this weekend near Hillsby, right behind Prospect's Family Smokehouse. I'm going to eat lunch there, then I'm going to go shoot a limited dove that afternoon. That El Campo area has become a dove haven. I want to remind September 20th, the teal opener, right there around Prospects as well. Please treat our bays and beaches with the same respect you would your own. Please give catch and release a chance. It's pretty cool.
I'm telling you what, that's a fantastic report, Break. Here's the Mirror Lure Hotspots from the Middle Coast region. Doving in the afternoon after Prospects. You got to like that, man.
Yep.
Bink says trout are biting on the reefs in San Antonio Bay on Gulf Shrimp and Bass Assassins, and the redfish are good for waders in West Matagorda Bay on Bass Assassin Sea Shad.
Bink really knows how to sell it every week. Dove, Prospects, fish. Okay, times and temps are switching things up in the Star-Tron Middle Fresh region, so let's hear Matt Loescher's findings on Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Bree. Bink's got my mouth watering over here thinking about all those doves. I'm planning on shooting some this next weekend myself.
Good luck.
But till then, I guess we'll just be bass fishing and crappie fishing, so we'll talk about that first. Here on the largemouth side of things, things are changing up a little bit here this week. The fish haven't moved too much, and, it's still hot out there, but not nearly as hot this week in the Middle Fresh region. Things have cooled down a little bit. The highs are closer to like 88, 90 this week instead of that high 90 stuff, and the days are getting noticeably shorter now. And so all those things are just leading us into that fall bite. We're still in that late summer pattern, but things are definitely starting to change. And we had some major rainfall during the Labor Day weekend, and that Longview, Texas area really got a lot. So here on Toledo Bend, all that rain that hits that Longview, Texas area comes down the Sabine River to Toledo Bend. So we're going to have a lot of water coming down the Sabine River this week, and that added current will make the fish sit still a little bit better, which is nice. And they aren't going to be roaming around as much and chasing the shad quite so much. And that helps the anglers because we can set up on a spot and stay there and make repetitive casts into a school of fish, and it really helps us catch more numbers that way. So the baits of choice haven't changed too much, except that the crankbait is excelling a little more now with that added current and those fish kind of sitting still a little bit better. The topwater action is slowed down a little bit, but it's still there. So every now and then those fish are still going to come up busting, especially if you get into some slack water areas, like up in the pockets around the edge of the grass and stuff like that. And especially if it's really calm, that's when they really like to come to the surface. They push their shad up. And then, of course, the old faithful worm is still the most consistent bite. That Bass Assassin tap out is still my favorite. And the fish are in a wide range of depths this week. They're from about 5 feet all the way out to about 25 feet. But on that shallower stuff, there's definitely got to be still a deep creek channel or something nearby. They're not just going to be up on really shallow water far away from deep water. They're still going to always have deep or shallow water close to deep water. Close to deep water. So just remember that. You're not just going to want to be way up on a shallow bank. You got to have a channel there somewhere. All right, now going over to Sam Rayburn. That lake received a lot of rainfall as well this past week, but they're letting out basically everything that comes into Rayburn because of the project ongoing at the dam. So it made for a little more current, but only about an inch in the rise on the level, and I'm sure they'll let that right back out. So that flow into some of the creeks, it did pull some of the shad in closer to the back of the drains in the creeks, and some of the fish chased them in there. But there's still a ton of the fish at the mouths of the drains as well, and out on the main lake too. So what I've been doing over there lately is starting out at the mouths of the drains on the points with my worm, and then I let the fish kind of lead me either farther in or farther out toward the main lake based on where I'm seeing the most activity that day, based on what they're doing at the dam and how that water's flowing. So just let the fish talk to you there. The worms and the chrome topwater baits are definitely still the go-to baits there. So keep it simple, and you can have a lot of fun on Rayburn right now because those fish are really bunched up with that lower water level. So lots of fish to be caught. Switching over to the crappie. Coming back here to Toledo Bend, we've enjoyed really good crappie fishing this week. Been pretty consistent with good catch numbers. We've seen a lot of little fish lately, and that's because that water level's finally come down. And that's the most little fish that we've seen on some of these deeper spots in a long time, and that's a really good sign for the future. We're still catching our better fish as well, but those little fish make for a lot more catch numbers, And we don't see that every year because you don't have that great of a spawn every year. So that means we had a really good spawn. I guess those fish are probably a couple of years old now. And in another couple of years, they'll be big ones. So that's great to see. So I want to encourage everybody to just be real gentle with those crappie. If you're planning on throwing them back, there's no point in throwing them back if they're dead, right? So take care of those. That's our future. They're sitting out on that 15 to 25 foot deep stuff. And I feel like a broken record, but it's the truth. Same as you've been hearing me say for a while now, that Panfish Assassin tiny monkey milk on a 32nd ounce head, and then the live minnow are still doing the trick. And I got a photo for you of what you can catch there with them. That's Blake with a big old Toledo Bend slab.
Tell us about the photo.
Oh, yep, there we go.
Yep.
Nice.
You got Blake there holding that nice one. And then over at Rayburn, same deal, seeing a bunch of crappie bunching up really good on those deeper areas of 25 to 30 foot. They're bunching up more and more, and they're eating that monkey milk jig there too.
Hey, Matt.
A lot of fun, and y'all go get them.
Appreciate it, buddy. We're going to take your Rodeo Marine hotspots from here for the Middle Fresh region. Matt says Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn both have good late summer bite going on with the bass biting worms, crankbaits, and topwater plugs. And shad are the key to focus on here because the more shad, the better, and the crappie bite's pretty good on both of those lakes as well.
All right, Jim, all support that saves lives every single month and join the Honors Circle. Every day we lose too many veterans and first responders to suicide, lives that could be saved with connection, purpose, and healing. This Suicide Awareness Month, you can become part of the solution. At Heroes on the Water, we use therapeutic kayak fishing to provide calm, community, and a renewed sense of purpose. Your monthly gift helps ensure that no hero has to paddle through pain alone. All right, the Lower Coast region is coming up next, but first Dave has some new product bragging to do at the Parts View Workbench.
I do.
Good over
I'm going to brag hard on them. We got some really cool stuff. Some nice sunglasses, pin rod and reel combo.
Can't wait to hear more about
Bass
it.
Assassin, always fun.
We'll be back.
The Texas Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Abu Garcia, Fish to Win, Fenwick, Feel Everything, Berkeley Pro Spec Chrome, Heroes on the Water, Paddle, Fish, Heel. Turn on the bite anytime. Tie on a MirrowLure. Front Runner Boats, performance-built offshore fishing boats made in the USA. And Startron, start, run, and store with Startron.
Today's Power Pole tip of the week, guys, it's about the Power Pole Vision. Now understand the Vision has an entertainment feature that I'm really excited about. And the reason why I like it so much is because I can stay connected. I can actually be out here doing some work, setting up meetings, taking Zoom calls, and I can do a variety of different things through the Vision. The other thing that's so cool is that guess what? If I'm out there on the weekend fishing, I don't have to hurry home to see my NASCAR race or to see my Miami Dolphins or the Bucks game. I can watch the game right here, work my way home during halftime, whatever it may be. Now remember this too, guys. If you happen to have your favorite streaming device, you can stream Sportsman's Adventures or the Florida Insider Fisher Report. Go check out the Hotspots from Captain Jeff Page. You can do all these things through the Power Pole Vision. The other thing that I like is that you have the ability to actually order something through Amazon. Maybe you lose your favorite lure. You can want to order a new bag of gulp because you went through them all. Guess what? You can do that through Sportsman's Adventures or Amazon. You simply just go to your favorite site. Remember, Discovery, Go, Pursuit, and all those streaming devices you can get here on Vision. If you want to know more about the Vision, you can simply go to powerpole.com, and that's today's Power Pole tip of the week.
Well, guys and gals, we're at the Parts View Workbench again for the Taco Marine new product segment. You know, shopping.
Shopping on the boat. I never thought I'd see Rick shopping on the boat.
Watching football. I don't know. What's it coming to? You can do it all now. You can do it all.
Amazon.
And catch fish at the same time, Dave.
Shopping on Amazon.
What have we got going on here?
Well, we're going to start over here with these Bahio Sigs. From the cool colors and casual style, they still hide a lot of really fishy features. The wide polarized lenses, blue light blocking technology, the built-in sun ledge inside at the top to keep the sun out from the sides.
These are my new favorites for my face profile.
They look good on you.
Perfectly.
Yeah. They got the rubber nose pads and the temple tips. flex hinges, all those great things to keep you from breaking them. 5 different frame colors, 7 lens colors. You can get them in readers or prescriptions, and they block 100% of all the UV light, like 95% of the blue light, and 90% of the bad yellow light.
And they're made with a lot of sustainable materials, which is always good for the environment.
Exactly, and if you call them up with a problem, a person answers the phone and takes care of you. BahiosSunglasses.com.
Love it.
Get those SIGs. Next, we have the Penn Battle 4 spinning rod and reel combo. That's with a 4,000 on it. That's only a $200 combo, which is really, I think, a great deal. 7-foot, one-piece rod. The Battle 4 is stronger and more durable than ever. It's one of the brand new ones. Hydro armor system seals all the critical areas to keep the salt water out. It's got HT100 drags washers, the same one they put in an international. 5+1 stainless steel ball bearings. The rod has Penn Dura guides on it, which are my favorite guides.
My favorite too.
They don't have inserts.
Yeah, nothing to break there.
Everything that always breaks on my rods are inserts popping out.
I didn't think they could get this battle reel any better. This thing feels so tight.
Exactly.
I mean, it just feels like it is a well put together machine. It is so accurate.
Yep. You got a
There's
graphite.
no slop. It's just, God, it feels good.
Got a graphite composite blank and premium cork handles there. So go to penfishing.com to get your battle combo. Next, we have the Bass Assassin 3.5-inch Bang Bug. This is brand new, all new, first of its kind, all new colors. It's a creature-style bait that resembles a crawfish. It's an all-purpose bait. It's designed to work behind a swim jig, a buzz bait, a spinner bait trailer, a punch jig. You can rig it Carolina rig or Texas rig and fish it by itself. You can use it for pitching or flipping as well on a big
very
jig head.
Very universal.
Yeah.
Very universal.
Universal. It's one of the most universal baits there is. Some of my favorite colors are the fugly and the deposit slip, and the green pumpkin with the red glitters is one of my favorites as well. So
where do they go to get those?
BassAssassin.com to get your new Bang Bug.
And what's our last product here?
Last but not least, we have the TH Marine Gator Guard Keel Shield.
The Keel Shield.
Yeah, it's a keel shield. And what that does is you can put that on the bottom of your keel, and it keeps, really protects your keel from all the stuff.
That's heavy duty.
Sandbars and oyster bars, because your keel gets all the roughness.
Anybody that goes to the sandbar on a regular basis, this would be a fantastic addition to their boat.
Yeah, and it's easy to put on. You put it on yourself. You don't have to go to somebody to put it on. You just use some of this adhesion promoter, clean off your hull real good with a pad, and then you use one of these little tools here to make sure that you smooth it on.
Get
real
all
good.
the bubbles out.
Exactly, and this is just a big sticker. Really, and the stickers they have these days, this stuff doesn't come off. I mean, it's amazing. But
and where do they go to find those?
Well, you go to thmarinesupplies.com. thmarinesupplies.com. I was stuttering on the supplies.
Well, Bree, where are we going to go next?
100% made in the USA as well.
Well, there's nothing better than not being able to get a captain on the line because he has a fish on the line. So Captain Chad Kinney from the Lower Coast region is currently unavailable. He's probably hooked up to a Dorado or tuna or something. So Jim, why don't you take it away and read his report for us?
Well, I'll tell you what, Chad's always got a good report. He says the trout fishing has been great lately. The land cut and the edges of the grass lines are holding fish out of Port Mansfield. And you want to fish those drop-offs and those guts that flow off the flats. It's been really good. The best way to do that is to power pole down by the gut and use your Rodan trolling motor to put yourself in a position and then anchor lock it so that you can cast into the guts. Right now, the best action for live bait the best action is with live bait. Live croakers, as a matter of fact, seem to be working really good. And you want to free line those, or you can add a chatter weight to them with a 5/0 or 6/0 Eagle Claw Kale hook. And you want to pitch those baits up against the edge of the drop-offs and then let them drop all the way back in and work them back to you. And then he's got a picture here of a nice trout that is caught in those.
Oh, dang.
Yeah,
that's not a nice trout. That's a giant.
Yeah. Woo. And then offshore, he says you want to get out there. The Dorado fishing's been pretty good right now. Good numbers of yellowfin around the floaters as well. So you can deep drop for tile when you're not yellow fishing. So that's obviously a great thing to do when you're getting offshore. The other species is the Dorado, and he says it's the best it's been in years. Any structure or weed line are holding them right now, and the fads are also attracting them. You want to look in there around those buoys that are in the Gulf at 1,200 to 1,400 feet deep. You want to hold, they're holding pretty good numbers of Dorado right now. There's smaller baits like cedar plugs and squid chains seem to be working best on them. And small rig ballyhoo seem to work well. You can also pull up and throw some lures at the smaller, at some of those fads, and like smaller paddle tails like that Assassin, that we talk about a lot for trout and redfish. Or you can throw spoons, or you can free line some cut baits out behind the boat. There's plenty of good action right now. Just remember that don't get greedy, take what you can eat and release the rest so that somebody else can bring some home too. And then last species here, he says he's talking about Dorado again. You want to catch them, you want to get out to that 1,000 to 1,200 foot deep drop area. You can manually crank, or you can use a hook or reel. Actually, he's talking about tile fish. I'm sorry, we had a Dorado picture that I blew past, and then he went to tile fish. So bring it back and bring it back to that 12 to 1,200 foot deep zone or so, and you can get your hooker electric down there, and you can use 2 to 3 pounds of weight for the most part. There's not a lot of current there, so you don't have to put a whole bunch of weight, but just enough to get it down. And then obviously drop that one. You can drop to a 1 pound weight if you really need to. You want your baits to lay flat if you can get them to lay flat in the current. That seems to be the key to it. And obviously those are excellent eating fish, and it can be a good way to spend a few hours once the trolling bite has stopped. You also has a picture here of some really nice tile fish.
Woohoo!
Really
golden
nice.
tile.
That's a beautiful
Really
golden
nice.
tile.
And they are delicious.
Oh,
Yep.
yum.
So the other thing he's been talking about is around those floater rigs, is that you can get out there and troll ballyhoo around them on those yellowfin like we were talking about before. Chugger heads or just naked chin weights seem to be working really good. You can troll at 7.5 to 8 knots, and once the sun gets up a little higher, you can drop down and use a jig and spoon like a Savage jig or something like that. You can also get them up and get them on a topwater once in a while, especially if you see a lot of surface action going on. And Chad's saying that Penn 6500 with a blue Carnage jigging rod works really great with 65-pound Berkeley braid on those main lines. And then your fluorocarbon has got to be somewhere in that 50 to 80 pound for your shock leader. Live baits such as flying fish and hardtails are also working well. And take plenty of ice. These fish will burn, so you want to make sure that you get them iced down really good. And then once you get out there, he says they'll normally take about 1,000 pounds whenever they actually are going out there. So he's really trying to keep those things from burning. He's got also a picture here of a nice yellowfin tuna.
Nice.
And you know what? There's nothing worse than a burnt tuna.
I only like to, he mentioned earlier, about how many you should, I only like to keep as many as I want to clean. And I don't want to clean fish for everybody on my street. I really don't.
Frozen fish is okay, but honestly.
Why?
Yeah, how much of it goes bad?
Right.
Right.
Share it
And
with neighbors, share it with family.
It's so much better
Don't
fresh.
freeze it if it's possible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jim,
Well,
let's
let's
take a
go
look
to
at
the
the
My
hotspots,
neighbors can go
'cause,
fishing
Chad has a
themselves.
great hotspot for you guys and gals this week. He says, get out there on the inshore and look at that lower coast because there's trout fishing in the land cuts, and East Cut out of Port Mansfield is really good right now. And then offshore, sea conditions have been perfect, so get out there for those Dorado at the fads. And then out deeper, there's plenty of yellowfin tuna, and you can go deep drop for tile fish if all of that other stuff isn't working.
And I'm sure next week we'll see some photos of Chad currently catching those yellowfin or Dorado that
I'm
he
sure
missed
that's
the
what
show
he
for.
does.
Ma'am, yes,
so good
he probably
job.
will.
All right, well, as we wrap things up, let's take a look at what you've been reeling in on Seize the Social.
What could it be?
Yes, sir.
What do we got? Oh, look, it's Chad. Just kidding. It's not Chad. Maybe Chad. Oh,
I've
could
seen
be
this one.
Chad.
I've seen
Marlin
this one.
action.
I've seen this one. Incoming!
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, I might have had nightmares of that happening. Dave, how close, has that ever happened to you?
I have had them come in. I've had a lot of
In the
sailfish
boat?
jump in the boat, but I've never had a blue marlin, thank goodness.
Clear the deck. Absolutely clear
Mark.
the deck.
Yeah,
Mark.
a lot of times, if you have a mate on the leader with a little fish like that, the fish will jump up in the air and the mate's got all macho and he wants to try to pull him in.
Yeah.
And when you do that,
Don't do
that
that.
fish flips over and his next jump's coming right into the boat.
Oh, man.
And that may have been what happened there
Scary.
because that fish actually got to the side of the boat instead of being behind the boat.
All right, Jim, Wise, well, good Marlin talk, but so good to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
you were great.
you.
We'll see y'all next
Appreciate
week.
it.
Bye.